Jax starts now.
A News 4 Jax I-Team exclusive. For the first time, Jabar Gaffney's family is speaking out about the troubles the former high school, college, and pro football star is going through.
We are troubled about the last couple of years. I don't know if it has anything to do with concussion. I don't know if it has anything to do with this CTE.
Now, medical and legal professionals are weighing in on a difficult question. Is Jabar Gaffney a troublemaker, or is he medically troubled? Right now, the 37-year-old Jabar Gaffney is back home after being released from a mental health facility Monday night. An incident late last week is the latest in a series of incidents that the News 4 Jax I-Team has covered on Gaffney's legal problems, ranging from arrests for marijuana possession to domestic violence to dozens of driving violations.
And this summer, his troubles got worse. Gaffney was charged with a felony, accused in this surveillance video of vandalizing the car of his former teammate, Lito Shepard. Then, last Friday night, armed police officers surrounded his home after his girlfriend reported he was threatening suicide while taking sleeping pills and holding a gun. We're told Gaffney denied he was suicidal, but under Florida's Baker Act, he was held for 72 hours for psychiatric evaluation.
I-Team investigator Lindsay Gardner has been reporting on Jabar Gaffney for years. She is here now with an exclusive interview with Gaffney's uncle. Lindsay?
Well, Tom, as you know, and a lot of folks at home know, the Gaffney family is well known throughout Jacksonville. Both Jabar and his father, Derek, made it to the NFL. Jabar's two uncles, Johnny and Reggie Gaffney, both served on city council. And tonight, current city councilman Reggie Gaffney sat down with me to talk about a very private matter. As we ask the question, is this just bad behavior, or is this something else?
Hit after hit after hit. For years, Jabar Gaffney suited up on the football field as a receiver, leading Raines High School to its first ever state championship, then on to the University of Florida, where he scored 27 touchdowns in 2 seasons. He was drafted by the Houston Texans and spent 11 years in the NFL, even making it to the Super Bowl.
It's a balanced sport. It's probably the most balanced sport that man created.
City Councilman Reggie Gaffney is Jabar Gaffney's uncle.
He talk about headaches often, and I assume that's where all that come from. And I remember several games in the 2000s when we talked to Jabar after the game or the next day, and they say we always use a tease. When you was out for 2 or 3 plays, and say, yeah, I took a good hit, but I got back up. They made me go back in.
It wasn't until after Jabar left the league that the NFL made significant changes on dealing with concussions.
What are the things that you all as family are noticing that are concerning for Jabar?
Well, I have noticed his mood. I mean, one day, talked to him this last couple of days ago, it was like nothing happened. And then he can come there and just sit in a corner and be very quiet. You know, Jabar always been a happy-go-lucky person that liked to fit in and communicate. But in these days, he seems to want to be alone. Last 2 years, it's been like Jabar by himself and then isolate himself to a point that when I see him, I just was beginning to wonder what's going on upstairs.
Jabar has also been dealing with legal issues since college. And while in the NFL, he was arrested for unlawful possession of a gun. Once retired, the arrests kept coming. Marijuana possession, domestic battery, and now this year a felony charge for vandalizing former teammate and pro football player Lito Shepard's car in Jax Beach. Sources say Gaffney is paranoid about Shepard and blames him for the breakup of his marriage, something Shepard denies. While the criminal case is continuing, Shepard has taken out a restraining order against Gaffney, saying he's fearful of him.
So I'm confused, and I'm not sure what we need to do as a family, but it's something going on, I think. You know, I don't know if it has anything to do with concussion. I don't know if it has anything to do with this CTE.
CTE, or chronic traumatic encephalopathy, is controversial in the medical community, but it's recognized as a serious byproduct of repeated head trauma. It is studied by neuropsychologists like Dr. Sarah Leahy. She manages concussion treatment at Brooks Rehabilitation here in Jacksonville.
So while we think that we are really figuring this out and relating it to these chronic hits, really there's more we don't know than what we do know.
While people who play contact sports like football are at risk, Dr. Leahy says CTE has also been found in men and women with no history of playing sports. She also says CTE can only be diagnosed after death through an autopsy of the brain.
After that time, we can look back at the history and possibly relate some what we call neurobehavioral changes or changes in the way a person behaves or acts or their mood. However, it's not a one-to-one correlation. There's a lot we don't know about genetic predisposition, other risk factors.
Last year, a Boston neuropsychologist published her findings in the New York Times. After examining 111 brains of former NFL players, she found CTE in 110 of them. According to the Mayo Clinic, CTE is very rare. Mayo lists symptoms including difficulty thinking, impulsive behavior, depression, short-term memory loss, difficulty planning or carrying out a task, emotional instability, substance abuse, and suicidal thoughts or behavior. But that's not all. Other symptoms may include irritability, aggression, and dementia. Gene Nichols, a local defense attorney who is not affiliated with Gaffney's case, says it's likely Gaffney's attorney is already having him evaluated.
And there's also no question that they would have considered CTE because he's starting to show some classic symptoms.
For Reggie Gaffney, the name Aaron Hernandez is heavy on his heart. Like Jabar, Hernandez played at the University of Florida and with the New England Patriots. After the convicted murderer committed suicide in prison, a Boston neuropsychologist said an autopsy of Hernandez's brain uncovered one of the worst cases of CTE on record.
It's unfortunate he had to leave the earth before we can cover up all his problems. I hope that it don't get to this point with Jabar. Most of the professional athletes that I talk to, that's a frustration because most of them give their life to football. And it seems as though that you almost got to be dead before the NFL will step in and say, how can we help?
Do you know if Jabar has been in contact with anyone at the NFL at all to talk about these?
I want to say yes. I know it's that I do know. I'm not sure at what level, but I know he have reached out to them a couple times about the same issues that I'm talking to you about, the headaches, the depression.
Reggie Gaffney tells me as of now, the family believes in the healing power of prayer for Jabar, but they are also seeking help.
So at this point, there's no game plan. We don't know what we're going to do to help him. I'm just hoping that somebody can give us some guidance on how to deal with a situation like this because it's our first time as a family.
The News4Jax I-team did reach out to the NFL Players Association about Jabar Gaffney. So far, we have not heard back from them. I also reached out to Jabar Gaffney's attorney, Seth Schwartz. He told me he could not comment on any client's medical needs, but he did tell me in the abstract if he has a client who played any kind of contact sport, whether it be football, hockey, even soccer these days, if they're exhibiting any symptoms that are concerning, that his law firm does have them checked out by medical professionals.
Lindsay, did Councilman Gaffney tell you whether Jabar Gaffney, his nephew, has acknowledged to the family that he does indeed have some kind of problem and needs help?
He did not tell me that specifically, Tom. You got the impression, speaking with Reggie Gaffney, just how concerned he is and how compassionate he is about this. You know, Reggie Gaffney has also spent much of his career working with people in mental health. But you definitely got the impression it's a very sensitive subject within the family.
And so little is still known about CTE. These problems that Gaffney is having, the behaviors, aren't they also symptoms of other conditions?
Absolutely. That is what several doctors I spoke with, even in town, I spoke with 2 neuropsychologists today, and they both say that's the danger in making this connection too quickly, and they feel like maybe the mainstream media is already doing that to a point of causing panic, because they say right now the pathology is not there there to connect. If you have CTE in someone's brain, that explains the behaviors, because we have depression in our society. We have anxiety in our society. We have criminals in our society. Substance abuse. So they are saying that it's too early in science to make that connection.
All right, Lindsay, thank you.